No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today we are having a conversation with Miranda, aka you're a shovel girl, right? Not the girl who threw the shovel girl didn't get the honor of becoming shovel girl.
No, at the time the internet was different. You know what I mean? So like everybody on the internet was really mad at her for throwing a shovel. They were like, "You need to fight fair." Like, you know what I mean? She actually had to leave school. I think she got a lot of death threats and stuff like that. She had to quit school and like do homeschooling for a while, actually.
Okay.
So, for some reason, I got really popular on the internet for that.
Okay, but let's go right from the beginning. So you're from where exactly?
I'm from Ohio.
Okay. And small town in Ohio, I'm assuming?
Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
It's kind of small. It's the next to Cincinnati. It's a little bit smaller than Cincinnati, Ohio. So it's more like the bigger side.
Okay. And I guess like the average person who has seen the clip looks at that and thinks, oh, that's some white trash shit.
Oh, yeah.
Would you describe your upbringing as that?
Yes.
Okay.
White trash. I would say yes. It wasn't like everybody's like, okay, this is some trailer park, like country Ohio white trash shit. It wasn't exactly what they thought it was. I was definitely not like born in a trailer park. I happened to be in her city. So the city that I happened in was Bethel, Ohio, which is more country.
Okay.
I was just in that city at the time. I didn't live in a trailer. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with my great grandma. So
okay. But pretty white trash overall. A lot of bullshit going on. Okay.
Yeah. My dad was in prison. My mom was in prison. You know what I mean? Like
what'd your dad go in for?
He was in for a lot of things, drug use, robbery. I think the last thing he was in for was robbery. He hung himself when I was 10, so.
Oh, shit. Rest in peace, damn. What was your mom in for?
Prostitution and drug abuse.
Wow, so you grew up around a lot of wild shit. Like, are your earliest memories a lot of this kind of stuff going on all around you?
Yes, for sure. My earliest memory is when I was 3, my mom went to prison. That affected me really heavily. I moved in with my grandparents, my great-grandma, and my Nana at the time. I went back and forth. I was also in the system a lot. I've done 3.5 years of my life in juvenile jail. So
wow.
I think I just, I think, you know, like the twin study, I study psychology in school as well. So people can take it 2 ways. Some people see their parents doing stuff like that and they're like, I would never do that in my life. And then like for me, I grew up with my parents doing stuff like that. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I want to be like that. And it was stupid at the time. But
really? So you never really gravitated towards the idea of not wanting to be involved with that stuff? You always kind of took it as like, oh, drugs and crime. This is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, for sure. Like just like the people I was around and who I decided to put myself around, my friends, my family, my influences. At the time, I was like, this is like where I want to be at in life.
This is just life.
This is it. You know what I mean?
I mean, trust me, I interview gang members all the time where it's very obvious to me that that's it. Like they see their dad get shot, get in a wheelchair, go to prison, all this bullshit, and doesn't really stop them from wanting to see for themselves what that life is like. Okay, but so that video happened when you were what age?
14.
14.
And I was like, there's some conspiracy on the internet because I lied about my age at the time. And I said I was 18. I wanted to go on a lot of like radio interviews and stuff that they said I needed my parent permission for.
Right.
But I was in half custody of the state. So it was hard to get my state permission because I was like on like children parole at the time. It was called drug court in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
But so it was having a hard time, and then I was lying to my boyfriend at the time. My boyfriend was older than me, and I was telling him that I was 18, so.
Oh shit, how old was he?
He was like 19 or 20.
And you were actually 14. You were lying by 4 years.
And my great grandma was lying with me. R.I.P. my great grandma.
She
was a savage.
Do you think you genuinely looked 18, or was he just an idiot?
Yeah, I did. I got my first tattoo at 12 and a half, almost 13.
Wow.
I was just doing crazy things like wearing extensions, going out.
And were you not in school?
No, I had dropped out of school pretty much. The reason why I was on drug court was because I had gotten on house arrest for not showing up to school and like having tattoos and stuff, which they called CPS, which is why I was in protective custody. And then I didn't want to, I was always running away. I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to do my own thing, I guess.
You want to do hood rat shit with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that day, let's break this down because, okay, was there pre-existing animosity, or how did this actual disagreement with the other girl start to brew?
Okay, so this is what happened. I decided to hang out with this guy from my school, which at the time I was really young. Even though I hung out with older people and was doing hood rat stuff, I liked to like smoke weed and hang out with people from my school too. I was going to like a middle school at the time, and there was this guy there named Bug. But his real name was like Derek, and we like, he was like, let's meet at the park, let's smoke some weed, whatever. I was like, okay, let's meet at the park. So we met at the park across the street from my house, regular kid stuff, you know. I was 14 at the time, so we met, we were smoking, and he was like, you should call my girlfriend and tell her that you're my girlfriend now. And I was like, okay. Right? I was like, okay. When I was a kid, I just loved confrontation. I really don't know why. I really don't know. I was an angry kid. I was mad. You know, I watched my dad die. I was like in a bunch of stuff, and I just like confrontation.
But when
so
you say that, it just like makes me think about high school and how like anyone could kind of suggest like a pretty bad idea to me, and I might just be like, yeah, all right, that sounds, yeah, let's do that. All right, why not?
Right, exactly. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I FaceTimed her, and I was like, this is my boyfriend now. I didn't expect her to take it so hard, but she was like super upset about it. She started crying on the phone. And as a kid, I was not a girl's girl. Like I was like, I kind of like fed off the energy a little bit. You know, I was in a bad headspace, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like egged her on. Like as she was crying, I was like, well, it doesn't even matter. Like obviously, like whatever. Like,
but I always point that out, how girls now, that's like the ultimate insult, is like, you're not a girl's girl.
It is.
You turn your back on your own gender. Yeah,
now I'm like such a girl's girl through and through, and I feel so bad. Like I still feel bad. People comment on my Instagram and they're like, you deserved it, and I'm like, I agree.
Okay, so she takes it to heart when you tell her that this is your new boyfriend, but you weren't even hooking up with this guy? This was just a troll?
So listen, this is what's funny. We went to go hook up. I was young. I was promiscuous at the time, okay? We went to go hook up, and he like cried. I guess he was a virgin. He like cried.
He cried?
Yes, he cried. He like wasn't ready. You know what I mean? He's like, don't touch me, Katie. I'm not ready, okay? Like he wasn't ready. So.
And he's 19.
No, he was my age.
Your boyfriend was 19. Yeah, my boyfriend was 19. Got it.
But
okay.
Yeah, okay, so that's bad, right? I had a boyfriend also at the time. So again, I wasn't the best kid, right? So it's okay. I've definitely changed and grown a lot. So I'm able to like look back and be like, Jesus,
but,
you know?
Wow, there's so many pieces to this. Okay,
so many pieces to the puzzle. So that happened. She stalked me online for a while. You know what I mean? She was like, I like blocked her because I was like tired of the drama. I was in drama with a lot of girls. My brother was kind of person like, if you talk shit, you have to fight. Like he always made me like go to these people's houses, like fight them. If I didn't fight him, he would fight me, type stuff. Like it was crazy.
He would fight you?
Yes, my brother was crazy. Shout out
how
Caleb.
bad? He'd really beat the shit out of you?
No, yeah, he's crazy. He's still crazy right now. We do not talk anymore. Like he's still living a really rough lifestyle. But yeah, he was crazy. But I remember my first fight I was ever in, I was like 12 or 13, and he made me fight his 18-year-old girlfriend. What? And she, like they were like broken up at the time, but then they were back together. And so he came to the fight and like rooted for her. Was like on her side. But
wow, that's hilarious. But okay, so how does that girl react to you telling her that you're now dating her boyfriend? She takes to social media?
Yeah, she takes it to heart, takes it to social media. I didn't care much about it at the time. I was drinking a lot, using a lot, so I really didn't care. I was like, whatever. And then I was hanging out with my friend Haley Roush. Me and this girl, we were around the same age, but we would party a lot and go to like different cities and like go to parties, and we would drive around. We would do crazy stuff together a lot. And I guess she lived in the same city as her. I never knew where this girl really lived, but me and Haley had went to a carnival together. We had saw this girl. I guess she was friends with her, and we were like at the carnival, and she didn't want to hang out with us because I was there. She still had beef. I really did not have beef with this girl anymore. I did not care about the situation. Like, I was like, whatever. And then the next day I was at Haley's house, and this girl called, and she was like talking crap. I started talking crap, and she was like, I live right down the road. And I was like, let's meet at the park. Like, let's fight. Let's fight about it. Because that's what I was used to. You know what I mean? Like, let's just fight it out and then be friends or make up afterwards. Whatever we have to do. You know what I mean? And she was like, I can't leave my house. I have all these animals. So I walked to her house. Like through like 4 cornfields.
Wow. 4 cornfields. So you walk to her house and she's waiting outside, or you have to ring the doorbell?
No, I feel like my friend Haley knocked on the door.
Okay.
And she's like, which I cannot find the full video online anymore. My friend Josh Officer took it. He put it on YouTube. He ended up moving down to this state. The last time I saw him was when he recorded that video.
So at one point there was a longer video, but it seems like it might have just been lost to time. Yeah,
there was a video, like you saw her knock on the door. She came out with her puppies. She showed Haley her puppies. We saw chickens together. Like I could tell like she didn't really want to fight. You know what I mean? Okay. And if you watch the whole video, I asked her, like people are so mad at me, like you went to this girl's house to fight and you bullied her. I asked her multiple times, I was like, do you want to stop fighting? Like we can be friends. Let's just be cool. Like let's stop fighting right here. And then she like was always like, no, let's keep going. Let's keep going. And then by the end, I was so mad. I was pretty like drunk and high as well at that time. So that's why the doctor said I didn't get knocked out. Okay. Because I was just so drunk and high.
Okay, so you just saw the clip, but did you know that you can watch this entire interview right now before it's released to the public, uncensored, by becoming a member for just $5 a month? And there's a lot of other crazy benefits as well. So make sure you hit the link down in the description and sign up. Appreciate y'all.